Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our 46th Bay Area Playwrights Festival Honorable Mention Playslam, which is during the week of our virtual offerings for this year's festival. My name is Jessica Bird Beza. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm the Executive Artistic Director here at Playwrights Foundation. And just so excited to have those of you who are joining us here in this lovely Zoom room to hear some little snippets from a few of our honorable mention playwrights. But also today's offerings is going to be recorded and we're going to be sharing this on YouTube. So I also want to give a warm welcome to those of you who are joining us later and watching this on YouTube. And so grateful that you are also in virtual community with us as well. And before we begin, Playwrights Foundation would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are on the unceded territory of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. And we also encourage you to share and acknowledge in the chat the native lands that you reside on, as well as introduce yourself. And if you don't know what lands you live on, we encourage you to look it up on nativeland.ca. So I'll give a moment as folks kind of share. Feel free to share in the chat. Since we are in a Zoom room and in community together, encouraging folks to use the chat as well as we're in space together. And just want to name, we gathered in person for the 46th Bay Area Playwrights Festival just a few weeks ago from April 12th through 21st in San Francisco. And that featured the work of Noah Gardner, Alicia Kester, Aida Pirzada, Nia Akila Robinson, and also Jason Singh. And we gathered audiences. It was our first fully in-person festival since pre-pandemic, and finally kind of getting back to our pre-pandemic audience levels, which was very exciting. And the collective experience of just embracing joy, confronting loss, sharing laughter in space while engaging with these writers, new plays, and community was so unforgettable. And we're excited this week to be offering those readings on demand for 1 week only. So they'll be available until May 12th. And hopefully you will also check out their work online as well. But in addition to the playwrights in the festival, we also wanted to share the work of some of our honorable mention writers. There were 12 who were also selected in addition to the 5 playwrights who were selected for the festival and honored from our open application process out of 600 applicants. And tonight you will hear from 7 of those playwrights: Sean-Joseph Choo, Sara Guerrero, Hasti Jafari, Olis Krost, Nick Malakhow, and Phanésia Pharel. And you're going to hear them read short excerpts from the plays that were selected for the festival. But before we meet the writers, I also want to welcome our co-host for this evening, AeJay, Playwrights Foundation's artistic producer, to join me, and who will also be introducing our first playwright this evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is AeJay Antonio Marquis, and I am the artistic producer here at Playwrights Foundation. I'm so happy to be here today. And I'm also so excited for all of you to get to know our amazing honorable mention playwrights this evening. We want to give love to the playwrights in the chat. So during the readings, we invite you to share your responses to the play and encouragement for the playwrights, and ask that you refrain from side conversations or questions to a particular playwright. If you need technical assistance, please feel free to message Abby directly. All right, so let's get started and kick off our evening of readings with Sean Choo. Hey, Sean. Sean is a multi-hyphenate, multi-ethnic actor, composer, and writer based in Honolulu, Hawaii. Sean is interested in stories of the unheard, the unseen, and the unknown. He likes to imagine how topics of religion, culture, and queerness intersect and how they can be dramatized. He is dedicated to stories that are born from and belong to Hawaii. He also loves fantasy and weirdness and sci-fi and world building. He'll be reading tonight from his play Oto-san. Please welcome Sean Choo.
Hello.
Hi, hi. How are you doing today?
Good.
Great. So, where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Amazing. So, we have a question to get to know you a little bit better. What's the best food for when you are writing?
Uh, it's a variety of food like I have right now. There's a bunch of snacks.
Mm,
I just need snacks all the time.
I love that. Any favorite snack in particular?
Mm, I think whatever I have around me, but if I had an ideal snack, I really love dried mango with lihing mui sauce on it or powder on it, or dried squid. Yeah.
I mean, those both sound amazing. I want those right now. So, can you tell us a little bit about your play, Oto-san?
Yeah, Otosan is means father in Japanese, and it follows a family in Hawaii that are mixed race, Filipino Japanese. And I guess I could call it like a father-son sci-fi queer redemption story where the main character creates a Matrix-like video game for him to escape reality, but his dad accidentally goes into it. So the whole journey is about the son saving the dad, but also reconciling some family history dramas as well.
Amazing. So, let's give some love to Sean in the chat. And Sean, take it away.
Yamaguchi household, YPO Oahu. Jess brings out Hanafuda playing cards. Curtis fetches 3 beers, and Kuya sets up a fold-up table for them to play on. Jess deals out the cards as they all sit down. Curtis starts humming Misora Hibari's Kawa no Nagare no Yoni. Eventually, Jess and Kuya start unconsciously humming along too, a shared moment of acknowledgement and connection. Then Curtis takes a card. Kuya groans. Kuya, how did you? Curtis, strategy. That's what you would know if you played StarCraft. They do a couple rounds without talking. Then Curtis, when are we going to play your game, Kuya? I told you it's still in beta. Jess, I thought you were an alpha or whatever, Kuya. Curtis, Kuya not one alpha. He'll bottom. Jess, what's a bottom? Kuya, Dad. Curtis, Cousin Jean is Mahu. I know this kind of stuff. Kuya, don't joke about that kind stuff. Curtis, why? The joke was no good. Kuya, homophobic jokes aren't funny, father. Curtis, wasn't a homophobic joke, was just teasing, son. Kuya, yeah, I guess you need some Heinekens in you before you really start getting rude, right? Oto-san? Jess, let's all just calm down. Curtis, who to say? Kuya, don't speak like that to mom. Curtis, I'll speak to my wife however I goddamn wish, boy. Kuya throws his cards on the table and downs the rest of his beer. He goes to the fridge to grab another. Curtis, what? It's true. Sometimes boys need to be put in their place. Jess, Curtis, you know your son is sensitive. Kuya, I can hear you, mom. Curtis, he needs to get thicker skin, so I give him tough love. Kuya, are you two really going to continue this conversation as if I'm not here? Jess, tough love? Like the tough love your father gave you? Curtis, Tosan was a good man. Complicated, but good. Kuya, here we go. Worship of our late, great racist ancestor. Curtis, that's your grandpa, Kuya. Kuya, yes, my grandpa. The lunatic who hated my cocoa-colored mother. Curtis, hey, watch your tongue, boy. been exactly 1 year since he died, you little shit. Show some respect. Jess, Ninang Tweety is leading the prayer for the anniversary tonight online. How about we finish getting dinner ready and eat, and then maybe we can catch some of the prayer. Kuya, why is my Ninang praying for Grandpa? Did they ever meet? Jess, no, but you know how she likes to keep track of everyone's death anniversaries. She prays for everything. Curtis, Shibakatare, no need rosary prayers, only need Senko for my dad. Kuya, yeah, no need, ma, he hated Catholics. Curtis, Yakamashi. Kuya, you refuse to admit your father was an asshole, not some amazing Toshiro Mifune-esque hero. That's the truth. And until you acknowledge that, we're not moving forward as a family. Curtis walks away from the table to sit in front of his TV. He turns it on, turns up the volume. Kuya, awesome, great talk, Dad. Kuya exits. Jess grabs the remote and turns off the TV. Jess gives Curtis stink eye and pinches him. Jess, ay, sobu on you. Curtis, forgive me, witch doctor Mananamba. Please do not curse me. Jess walks over to Curtis, kisses him on the forehead. Jess, I'm not one witch. Only healing from the Mananamba, Manong Curtis. Now go talk to your son. Jess slaps him. Curtis, I thought you said only healing. Jess, sometimes healing hurts. She pokes him in the underarm. Curtis exits, goes to outside of Kuya's room, knocks on the door, opens it. Hey, son. Hey, father. Listen, Curtis sneezes. Kuya says, Gesundheit. A strange, eerie musical flourish emerges from the computer. Curtis, yeah, thanks. Can I see your game? Why? Maybe I can help you with the bugs. There aren't any bugs. Always get bugs. Sure, but I can handle them. You know, work can get done quicker with 2 people. Or if it gets messed up, it takes twice as long to fix. I would have you know your old man used to work on AlohaNet and the old school computers back in the day. Historic. Curtis is hurt. Kuya notices. Kuya, Pono has some things I need to complete my program. Kuya does some typing on his computer. His screen is projected onto different parts of the stage. Curtis, I finally get one chance to see where my money went. Kuya, just remember there's still a lot to be done. Kuya stands up, gestures for his dad to take his place on his computer chair. Curtis, what's over there? Curtis points to a dark part of the game. Eerie music plays. Curtis and Kuya shiver. Suddenly, Kuya's phone starts ringing, and Curtis and Kuya jump again. Kuya looks at the phone and hurriedly answers it. Curtis starts clicking on the dark part of the game to investigate it while Kuya is distracted. Pono? Hi. Oh, yes, I did. Wait, hold on. Dad, don't go in the shadow area. Curtis, I just like see. No, stop. Cut it out. No, Pono, sorry. I was just talking to my dad. Curtis tries to hide the computer screen from Kuya so he can go to the forbidden shadow area. Dad, don't. Hold on. Pono, Dad. Curtis and Kuya fight over the keyboard. Curtis, I just like see. Kuya, Dad, no. Eerie music plays once more, getting louder and louder. Suddenly, hands come out of the computer, grabbing Curtis and pulling him into the computer screen. Kuya says, Mom! And that's my excerpt.
Okay, thank you so much, Sean. Let's put some love in the chat, maybe sharing something that's still resonating with you. If anybody's joining us on YouTube, feel free to also put things in the comments as well. And thank you, Sean, for kicking us off tonight. And so for our next playwright that we're going to hear from tonight is going to be Sara Guerrero. So Sara grew up in Anaheim and Santa Ana, California. She likes to initially start from a personal place or connection when she is writing and then just let it run wild. She is super excited to be one of the 4 playwrights for Theater Squared 2024 Arkansas New Play Festival coming up this June, and is also currently working on a very serious topic, which is middle school cheerleading. She says it's been really fun to kind of explore the world of TYA and also the topic of middle school cheerleading. So today she's going to be reading from her play, Have to Believe in Magic. And so welcome, Sara.
Hi.
Where where are you joining us from this evening?
I am joining you from Santa Ana, California, in lovely Orange County. We are on the unceded territory of the Awaneros and the Ahashman Nation.
Thank you. And also, just to get to know you a little bit better, a fun question is, what kind of animal are you when you write?
It really depends on the play, but lately it's been a tortoise, slow and
Mm.
steady. Sometimes it's the hare, but these days it's been the tortoise.
I mean, they do say, slow and steady can win the race.
It
Keep it
can.
going, the marathon.
Yes, and I often sit in process. I process a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great. Um, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your play, Have to Believe We Are Magic, and just set up the scene for us?
Sure. Okay, so this play is a coming of age after high school, uh mid 90s, or Southern Orange County, from a Pocha Chicana lens. Um it also touches on what is magic? Are we magic? And if so, how do you hold magic? And then also, this our protagonist who we'll meet in the scene is finds herself pregnant. And in this scene, she's trying to figure out, and has known for a little bit, but has been kind of sitting on it, and is finds herself um, in her own way telling the guy that she's seeing, or the guy that she's been hooking up with, about what's going on. And the play is her journey, with her, what she wants as a result of the situation that she is in, and then finds all these obstacles in her path through the magic, through roller skating, and through family and friendships as well.
Oh, thank you. And I'm excited for folks to hear a little bit.
Yeah, so have to believe we are magic.
Great. Well, take it away, Sarah.
Okay. Scene one. An electric summer night in 1994 in Anaheim, California, just outside of the happiest place on earth, where the tourists play, the people labor, the big mouse profits, and the cucarachas thrive. We hear the sounds of the streets, the traffic, the life filling the space, softly followed by music, maybe magic from Xanadu, a song from the movie, a 1980s American romantic musical fantasy film starring the timeless international Down Under star Olivia Newton-John. As the music grows, a sense of magical mischief mixed with temperamental circuits travel through the streets and lights. Suddenly, thousands of car ball antennas appear, floating and drifting all over like disco sequins. A roller skating figure appears, spinning, moving to the music, and through the clouds of balls. They reach up and pick from the floating objects and place them in their pockets. As the figure skates off, the magic flies and circulates. As the magic skates off, and as the magic flies and circulates into the edges, leaving behind its essence, we return to the earlier sounds of streets and traffic and one of the many parking lots clustered under and near the Magic Kingdom. Kirk, a young security guard, enters while speaking into a walkie-talkie. TJ, this is King K. I'm in hot pursuit. There's that weirdo who's back, stealing carball antennas again. TJ, you got your ears on? TJ, copy. Kirk sees something and exits. Moments later, the figure rolls back in, maybe laughing. They're enjoying this, and exits. Kirk returns. TJ, they just took 3 more 76 balls, one Mickey Mouse, two Jack in the Box, and a Woodsy Owl. You know, give a hoot and don't pollute. Definitely theft. Potential vandalizing. Copy. TJ, TJ, are you occupied? Copy. We hear the toilet flush through the walkie. Sorry, a bit occupied. Copy. Another flush. I'm gonna have to take this perp down myself. Kirk, hearing something, immediately reaches for their gun in their holster. With bated breath, hide in anticipation. As the figure rolls back in, Kirk springs into action. The sound of a safety unclicking. Freeze! The figure immediately breaks. Don't shoot, Kirk. It's me, Gloria. Gloria, what the? Stop pointing that thing at me. Sorry. Shit, your job harms you? No, it's mine. Yours? It's for my protection. What if you shot me? I didn't, okay? There's some real sketchy people out here, like those out of state tourists thinking they're entitled and shit. Oh, the freaks come out at night, and the magic never ends. Speaking of freaks, what? You've been the one stealing car ball antennas. Open your pockets. Here. Why, Gloria? What else is there to do in Anaheim? Maybe return my phone calls? Been a little busy, I can see. I'm here now, only because I caught you. I came to talk to you about, man, it's cold out here. Here, he places his jacket on her. He's annoyed, but not really. She smells him. They butterfly kiss. Drakkar Noir, you always smell good. Kirk smiles. Ooh, Crown Royal? Calm down, Officer McGruff. Esther accidentally spilt it on me when we were watching the Water and Light show down at the hotel. She and Marcos dropped acid earlier. Did you? No. You better watch out for the Mouse Patrol's 5-0 here. I'm careful. I bet Andrew's with you. Andrew is just a friend. A friend? He had a crush on me. Had? You don't like my friends. I hung out with them once. I don't trust Andrew. You don't trust me. I wonder why. What's that supposed to mean? You do stupid shit when you drink. Like date you? So we're dating? I'm not drinking tonight. You're sober? TJ to King K, are you still in hot pursuit of the perp? They got away. Copy. Sorry, man. Sorry, man. Maybe next time. Copy. Roger and out. Kirk reaches for Gloria. Hey, a Walkman? Ever heard of a portable CD player? It's 1994, Gloria. They skip when you skate. He reads what's written on the Walkman. DJ Delgado. Steal this too? No, my dad's. She skates a little. A DJ? House parties mostly. That's how my parents met. He was working a wedding she was in. You're pretty good. I know. He teach you, sorta? Dad who DJs and roller skates? He was a lot of things. Was? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Kirk pops out the cassette. Brew Jaw's Fantastical Magic Mix. Brew Ha. Not all of us speak Spanish. What's a brew ha? My nickname. Means witch, 'cause I'm magic, baby. She sings a little. A million lights are dancing, and there you are, a shooting star. Magic? Okay, I guess you gotta believe in something when you live in the shadow of the so-called tragic kingdom. Gloria snatches back her cassette. The skates, the music, the balls. You want some crazy fantasy quest, Bruja? You know you like it. Xanadu, Xanadu. How dare you? Xanadu is a timeless classical film with international down under superstar Olivia Newton-John. She's a goddess, one of 9 muses of Olympus, a descendant of Titan. Use something else, Gloria. What? I mean, I never know if I should take you seriously. You act like a kid sometimes. Oh, because you're so grown. I'm going to end there.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Sara.
Thank
What
you.
joy. Loved the walkie-talkie world. So great. Thank you. I'm going to invite or introduce Hasti Jafari to us today, who was
Also,
up
let's put
next.
some love in the chat
Oh,
for
yes, put some
Sara
love.
and
Please
things
do,
like
please do.
resonating and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Show some, always show some love. That's great. Thank you so much for that reminder, Jessica. Yeah, and as we're continuing putting love in the chat for Sara, I'm going to introduce our next playwright tonight, Hasti Jafari. Hasti is a queer Middle Eastern experimental writer. Hasti is a theater graduate from the University of Tehran and is currently in the last semester of their MFA program in playwriting from SF State University. They enjoy making playgrounds through their art and their plays have been produced in Tehran and San Francisco in both student and professional settings. Hasti will be reading from their play Superposition, a crawling play in 2 parts. Let's welcome Hasti.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So, Hasti, where are you joining us from tonight?
San Francisco.
Amazing. Gotta love the city. So, our question for you today is, if you could be a plant, what would you be?
A carnivorous plant. Think a Venus flytrap. One of those.
I love that. Yes, can eat, still eat, snack on some protein. I love that. Tell us a little bit about Superposition, a crawling play, and set up in 2 parts, and set up the scene for us.
Yeah, it's a play that's an adaptation, a very loose adaptation of Oedipus, just because I don't understand Greek plays. And it's based off, I'm Iranian, it's based off my frustration with hearing bad news every second of every day from the Middle East.
Great, thank you so much. Give love to in the chat audience and take it away, Hasti.
All right. Cat. It's 600 BC, but don't worry, there's the internet. Cat. I disembodied voice of Sphinx. Cat live in cat bed. Cat help with scheduling, sending emails, playing music, finding prescription-free amphetamine, announcing weather hours, stage directions, and scene headlines. A kitchen. Mom and Odie are sitting at the table. Mrs. T enters. Mom. Hi, Mrs. T. Thank you so much for coming. We were both freaking out. How are you feeling today? Mrs. T. I'm good now, but we'll get moody at 5:30 p.m. You're having an okay day too. Also, you'll have a very good next Wednesday. Stay away from ponds on Friday. But I understand it's Odie's future I'll be checking today? Mom. Yes. We think it might be him causing the plague. Not him. It's not his fault. He's 6. And the prince. It's me. I did something wrong. Something in this household. I just know it. Mrs. T. Could be. Plagues are tricky. You never know who did what household duty wrong to have brought them about. Mom. 'Cause it was all fine and good yesterday when the casualties were only 57 people, but then when I heard the 58th person had died, 58 is kind of my number. I just knew I had to do something about this. We all need to do our part. Cat. Odie rocks slightly back on his chair, which has an uneven leg. Mrs. T. That must be your son. Also, that chair rocks slightly. Mom. However did you know these things? Mrs. T. It's years of practice. Mom. Hope is back in this house, thank God. Mrs. T. Don't thank God, woman. Thank science. Mom. It's incredible how much you can deduce from a glance. Mrs. T. The future is in the now, honey. You can always find the signs, like in The Shining when Jack Nicholson stood in front of the bullhorns. That made him look like the Minotaur. You had to be really dumb to not know he's gonna be killing his family with an axe by the end. What's your name, child? Odie. Odie. Mrs. T. Are you feeling nervous? Odie. I never get nervous. I'm a prince. Mrs. T. I totally get it. It can be scary to get your future checked. So you know what? I'm gonna give you this lollipop so you'll get distracted, okay? Mom. Thanks. Mrs. T. Sure, child, I get it, I do. It's such a curse to be a fortune teller. That's why I stopped drinking tea without blindfolds. The last time I had tea like that, I discovered I'll be having pancreatic cancer in 5 years, and by the time I find out, it'll have progressed to stage 3. Mrs. T blindfolds herself and starts sipping tea. Yes, so the science is that the way you do one thing is the way you do anything. Like the way you wash your cat is the way you handle your midlife crisis. There's no escaping who you are, and who you are is what will happen to you. Now, this breakfast theory is trending recently because it's been proven in the studies to be very accurate. There are generally 5 distinct faith types: happy endings, sad endings, everyone's married including unattractive rebel girls endings, and run off to the desert with blindfolds so you'll never have to look in the mirror again, you motherfucker endings. And you can tell which one you're meant to have, plus a bunch of other valuable info. Like in your case, why is there a plague running around, all based on how you have your breakfast. That's honestly all you need to know. You ready? Go. Pretend I'm not here. Have a breakfast. Mom. But you can't see, Mrs. T. That's right. Now go ahead and have breakfast as if I'm not here. Cat. Mrs. T stuffs her mouth with fistful of cereal and starts crunching very loudly. And I will stop there.
Yes, thank you so much, Hasti. I think, yeah, let's put some love in the chat. Already things are starting to roll in terms of what is resonating or sticking with you. Also, if you're on YouTube, feel free to use the comments and share with what is resonating with you as well after hearing that. I think, just the constant onslaught of bad news, but how do you turn that, around? I feel like there's so many quotes in what you just shared. So thank you. All right, our next playwright we're going to hear from is Molly Olis Krost. And Molly splits her time between the Bay Area and Seattle. And as a kid, she was obsessed with Greek mythology. And as she became an adult, she began to explore and seek connection with her mixed race Filipino heritage. And her love for mythology became a creative impulse to weave cultural folklore into her writing. And so she loves magical realism and tries to think of new ways to incorporate spectacle into her writing, especially for the stage. And so the play we're going to hear her read from is Nanai. And so let's welcome Molly.
Hello.
Hello, Molly. Where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm currently in Seattle.
Seattle. And so our fun question for you is, what do you like to wear when you write?
I like to be a blob, like big sweatpants, big sweatshirt, or like a hoodie that I can put the hood up and pull the drawstring tight so I'm just like a face. And so I feel like it puts me in like the writer mode if I feel like I don't have a body and all I can do is write.
Just like not even thinking about
Yeah,
what the outside is, like as comfortable as you can be.
some kind of sensory deprivation.
Nice. It's a very distinct
Yeah.
image that you just painted for us. Well, tell us a little bit about Nanai and set up the scene for us.
Yeah, so it's a play about twin sisters, Angela and Eve. Angela has arrived to congratulate her twin sister Eve has just had a baby, but instead of a baby, she finds her sister living with a manananggal, which is a creature from Filipino folklore, very similar to a vampire, but they're known for eating babies. And as Angela is trying to piece together what's happening with this relationship. The play kind of incorporates Filipino mythology and tradition to kind of compare the Eastern and Western approaches to trauma and healing and sisterhood.
Awesome. Well, let's welcome Molly in the chat and take it away.
Yeah, all right. So the context for this scene is Angela and Eve have been having a reoccurring dream where they're in front of a fire, reminiscent of their time when they were in Girl Scouts. And let's go. Right. Act 2, Scene 7. The backyard. Late that night. So late that it has now become early. The time of night where dream and reality seem to blend together. They have been outside in this space for so long that the space has started to feel liminal. Angela sits up, having fallen asleep outside. The campfire continues to burn. She looks around. She is alone, but Manananggal's humming and guitar from the previous scene is heard. Angela. Eve? Ernesto? She waits. Nothing. She looks around again. She stares into the fire as if in a trance. I guess I should be thanking you. You wanted to help Mom, and it looks like you made at least something happen. I I knew you would. I trusted you. I know you love Eve. I just hope she sees that now. For what it's worth, I didn't think we were lost that day on the hike. I never felt lost when I was with you. Sometimes I wish it was me, that I was the one who could play like you and sing like you. I know you taught us both, but I know that Eve's better. That's why you stopped asking both of us to sing for you, right? That's why you only started asking Eve. The fire continues to burn, unchanged. Eve enters wearing a Girl Scout sash covered in patches. Eve walks in a slow circle around the campfire. Angela looks up at her. She doesn't know if this is a dream Eve or real Eve. She doesn't want to ask. Did you think I was selfish? Is that why you said that about me? That all I do is take? Eve takes a patch off of the sash and drops it into the fire. I gave you everything I could. I gave you both everything I could. I tried to agree with both of you. Nod along while listening after every fight, frown when I knew you were upset, a sympathetic sigh when she was being too unreasonable, shrug when you'd both throw your hands up and ask, why does she have to act this way? Eve takes another patch off the sash and drops it into the fire. But it was never enough for either of you. You wanted a loyalty I couldn't give. I could never take a side because it would always be wrong to one of you. Did you ever think about where that left me? I tried to make each of you see where the other was coming from, but you both just kept getting lost in translation. And I thought that I could be the one that left you both in the middle, and it would carry through to both of you, and you would finally see what the other was trying to say. Eve takes another patch off the sash and drops it into the fire. Did you ever think that the reason I take and I take and I stay so far away is because there was never anything left to give me? The blow up after each choir recital that no one went to my debate tournament the next day. The day you argued about piano lessons was the day I broke my ankle at soccer and had to wait in the ER for 3 hours with Coach Stevens before anyone came. Even after Mom was gone, we couldn't even celebrate our college acceptance together because you were too upset thinking about how she would have hated all the schools you applied to. Eve stops. For a moment, she and Angela lock eyes. I was the dust that swept along the edges after you cleared the room with every fight. I couldn't do it anymore. It felt like I was grasping for every happy moment the three of us had, and eventually it felt like I was holding too tight, and they all slipped away until I was left with nothing. Eve continues her circle around the fire. My favorite memories are the ones from Girl Scouts, arguing for badges I didn't earn, eating more cookies than I sold, the three of us forced into spending every weekend together. Because to me, we all seemed happy. I felt like we were a family, that no matter what, we were going to be there for each other. Holding on to that is what got me through all those years of the fighting and the grief, and I don't know what I would do if I can't have them. Eve, I know you were miserable those days, but please don't take them from me. Eve takes off another patch and drops it into the fire. I know those memories are painful and complicated, but for me, they're not. For me, they're all I have left of her that is mine. It took me so long to come here because I was afraid. I was afraid that you becoming a mom meant replacing everything she did with everything you would have done differently. That you would want me to know that you were righting her wrongs, even if I didn't see them that way. I want to be there how you need me, and I promise I'll try. Eve takes the final patch off her sash and turns to Angela. I want to love you both, but I'm afraid that you won't let me. I'm afraid that the more I let you in, the more I have to push her out, and I can't lose any more of her. Eve holds the final patch out to Angela. Angela takes it cautiously. Please, don't take her from me. Eve holds her hand out to Angela. Angela takes it. They exit together. The guitar continues to play, and the fire continues to burn. That's my scene.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Please send some love to Molly in the chat. And again, if you're on YouTube, you can comment and let us know what resonated with you as well. I am now tasked to introduce us to our next playwright, Nick Malakhow. Nick Malakhow was born and raised in New Jersey and is now a recent transplant to Colorado after almost 40 years on the East Coast. He has a mission to write constellations of characters who live at eclectic identity crossroads and pieces that honor those complex identities while focusing on shared humanity. Develop and produce work in places such as the O'Neill National Playwrights Conference, Orlando Shakes, Boulder Ensemble Theater, local theater company, as well as locally in San Francisco at the New Conservatory Theater Center. The play he is reading tonight is called Optional Boss Battle. Let's welcome Nick.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So, Nick, where are you joining us from tonight?
I am zooming in from sunny Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, lovely. And our question to get to know you a little bit better tonight is, what is your favorite emoji?
I have to say probably the dancing lady in the red dress. I think just she looks like she's having a great time and she's in charge of her life and aspirational persona for me. Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you, Jessica.
Yes, right on the heels of the Met Gala.
Yes,
You're
yes.
ready to go. Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about Optional Boss Baby and what we're going to be hearing tonight?
Yeah, Optional Boss Battle is a play that
Battle,
centers.
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I thought it's okay. It's a nickname. Yeah. Optional Boss Battle centers around two queer high school boys, Alonzo and Ruben, navigating the isolation of the early days of the pandemic. So they're former friends who go to the same private school and at the same time are thrust into online learning almost immediately after school shut down in March of 2020. And they rekindle their friendship in person when Ruben starts to visit Alonzo's doorstep. After visiting Alonzo for about a month, Ruben has recently learned that Alonzo actually refuses to leave even his stoop for something as simple as throwing out the garbage. Ruben, on the other hand, is navigating the loss of his father, which happened before the start of the pandemic, and he is looking for someone to connect with other than his also grieving mother. And so up until this scene, the two boys have really just been forging kind of a cautious friendship for about a month through Ruben visiting Alonzo's stoop and through online gaming. And right before this scene, Ruben experienced an upsetting experience in Zoom class with his English teacher who was discussing suicide in a way that took him off guard and brought up his father for him. And by the way, suicide is discussed in this scene, and that's where it begins.
Amazing, very poignant. All right, everyone, please show some love for Nick in the chat and take it away.
Scene 14. It's been 4 months. Ruben sits alone on Alonzo's doorstep, drunk. He is alone for a beat, and then Alonzo appears, clearly coming from bed. Alonzo, hi, Ruben. Whoa, hey, what's up? Are you okay? Don't I look awesome? You look drunk. Sharp, very sharp. So you're drunk and your mom just lets you wander. My mom does not know where I am. Oh, okay. Is that a problem? She's also pretty hammered herself. Well, she's been doing that a lot since. So there's that, like mother, like son, or is it like father, like son? I think it can be either. You came from both of them, so you can be like either, both. Do you want like water or something? I'm good. Ruben sways, maybe an ominous hiccup, something indicating that he is not good. Okay. Do you want anything? Why don't you leave that stoop? And you clam up again. Do you need help getting home or something? Like, what would it take to get you to leave that stoop? Ruben, I mean, fire, sure, but I'm not going to set fire to your house. Okay, thank you. What if I kissed you? Um, I mean, I know I'm not like Chris Evans. That's not, or is he still hot? Or I don't know, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine. They are all, yes, they are all solid choices. Very handsome, boring white Chris's. That is what I want. For you to leave that stoop. You asked, I want that. Ruben gets closer to Alonzo. But I can kiss you if you get off. Off the stoop, I mean. Would you kiss me? Not to offend. I don't think you're thinking very clearly. I need gum or something, right? That's not it. Then what, huh? What would it take you? I'm not hot enough. Can we maybe talk about something else? What if I killed myself? Would that do it? What if I killed myself if you didn't get off? That wouldn't work. Seriously, if I have like a razor here ready to slit my wrists up and down, please stop. And you wouldn't move, not a muscle. That wouldn't work. No, I didn't say. Then why not? Of course I would fucking do it, but do not, please, please, do not joke about that. Okay? That's how my dad, how he died. Yeah. Ruben, I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh God. What's wrong? I don't feel good. I think I'm gonna. God, please don't. Ruben seems as if he might puke on Alonzo, and Alonzo jumps off the stoop. False alarm. What? See, this is why I played Giles Corey in The Crucible last fall, a masterful acting job, right? You don't need to throw up. But you made it, right? You got off. Alonzo looks around, notices he's off the stoop. You did that on purpose. You did that on purpose. Fuck you. Alonzo pushes Ruben away and returns to the stoop. Alonzo is quietly anxious and angry. He fidgets with his hands and starts his tick and begins scratching himself. It builds and builds, and suddenly Ruben notices how aggressive it's become. Fuck, what are you? Hey, I'm sorry. Ruben goes and sits down next to Alonzo. He grabs Alonzo's hand. Before you bleed, I'm sorry. Fuck, I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So you're not going to throw up? No. You're sure? Yep. You pushed me. I have a thing with it. What? Puke. I have a thing about it. A thing. Scared. I'm scared of it. Not of it. I mean of me throwing up myself. I'm scared. Oh. Oh. Fuck. I'm sorry. It's okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm such a dick. I'm such a dick. I'm such a dick. Ruben, it's all right. Ruben drunkenly lays his head on Alonzo's shoulder. It's been 4 months today since my dad. It's been 4 months. End of scene.
Oh, great job, Nick. Thank you so much for sharing that. And things are already coming in the chat in terms of what was resonating, and continue to celebrate in the chat and in the comments, you know. But what's really sticking with me is the way that you're able to balance humor and also just like such, yeah, just deeply hit you in the heart as they're like wrestling with some really heavy stuff. So thank you for sharing that. So our next playwright that we're gonna hear from, our next and last but definitely not least, is Phanésia Pharel. And so Phanésia is a first generation Haitian American feminist who grew up on a dragon fruit farm in Miami, Florida. Her plays ask how Black and immigrant women love in a world that meets them with hate. And she is really excited about the Wagner New Play Festival that is coming up at UCSD in San Diego, where she is getting her MFA. And today she's going to be reading from her play R&B. And welcome, Phanésia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Phanésia, where are you joining us from tonight?
Sunny San Diego.
Sunny San Diego. And so the question we have for you tonight is, if you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
I am probably going to get in trouble for this, but I would like to go back in time. It's never a good thing. You're always going to get in trouble for doing it, but it is the one that I think is the coolest. You could stop some stuff and, you know.
Is that because you'd want to go back in time and like change things?
This is so weird. Yes, on the surface, my public-facing answers, I would want to change things. I'd also want to see certain events in real time. And I also would want to go back in time and steal clothing from the past because the materials were so much better. I'm tired of polyester.
Oh my gosh, I love all of those different answers, you know, because the obvious one is that you want to change time, but there's so many other things you can do. Um, Oh, thank you for that. So also tell us a little bit about R&B and set up the scene for us.
Absolutely. R&B is about two sisters, Rhythm and Belchamp. Rhythm is I think she's 13 years old. This play was written a couple years ago. Brain is coming back. She's in her early teen years, and she's an incredible R&B singer and writer. And her father, who was a pianist, passed away a few years ago from a drive-by shooting in Detroit. So R&B music is really her vehicle, it's her outlet. When she is brought in by her sister, who kind of moonlights as her manager, you know, for the local radio stations, like record label deal competition. And she goes in, she brings in her song, she wins, and that's the start of their journey. But it's really the tale of how young girls, particularly Black women, have been exploited within the R&B genre. And the question of the play is, how can we call them love songs if we make them this way? Alrighty.
Oh, well, I'm so excited for folks to hear it. So let's welcome Phanésia and take it away.
Great. Belchamp. I can't even think about it. Not having this music. I mean, I remember the first time I heard Lauryn Hill, and my Blackness was as complicated as it is beautiful. The delicate chills I get when Erykah Badu goes on, or when Usher says, "You make me wanna what?" I've never been in love or anything, but he makes me feel grown. It's like the songs Daddy would play on the piano. I have them memorized, but I want to record them, a capsule of us, to say we were here, we were immaculate. I'm going to skip forward in the script towards the end. This is the final scene. Etta, we play games. You like games? Want to guess? You want to know the big mystery? It's not a hard one to solve. I went to a party. I went with a friend, someone I loved, someone I trusted. They played a song, a love song, the music you raised me on. I was dancing, I was drunk, I was raped, and I have never been the same since. That guy was a monster. He was a monster, and my university knows it, and he gets to stay. What kind of person lets a monster out of its cage? You. Belchamp has a grudge. Oh, fuck yeah, she has a grudge. I would have a grudge too if I was. Belchamp begins to riff. Rhythm finds herself a little bit again. Everyday girl like me. Everyday eyes closed, get no sleep. Etta, you said you wouldn't know what to do to someone. You said you wouldn't know what you'd do if someone were to hurt me. Rhythm, 'cause you and me, it's more than memory. Etta, what are you going to do to yourself now? What that monster did to me, I will never forget it. But what you did to them? What do you think is going to happen to you? How much do I not know? How many girls did you see buried? And you can't say you did it for me, because I'm them. You can't call them love songs and make them this way. End of play. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Phanésia. You can't call them love songs. Oh my goodness, that's like, it hits you in the heart there at the end. Yeah, continue to give some love in the chat, sharing what, kind of resonated, what's jumping off for you and what Phanésia just shared. And also, I just want to thank all of our playwrights for sharing their work. It can be deeply vulnerable to share and read your own work, but I will say I always find it so deeply moving, and you can hear the real heart of the piece when it's coming from the playwright's own lips, and can often be my favorite reading of the play as well. So thank you all. We also want to acknowledge the other honorable mention playwrights who were not able to join us today. And that is also Lisa Sanaye Dring, Jahna Ferron-Smith, Melissa Leilani Larson, Minna Lee, Jeffrey Lowe, and also Harrison David Rivers. And I also want to give a shout out to our communications and engagement manager, Abby Panietis, for her behind the scenes magic this evening and supporting us. And give one last round of applause in the chat or in the comments, and just sharing what you loved and taking away from today. And just thank you all for joining us on Zoom or on YouTube. And hope that you will continue to follow these playwrights' work and share this YouTube video. And also, if this is before May 12th, that you'll check out the festival playwrights that are on demand for this year. So appreciate you all.